Ladies and gentlemen, today we're embarking on a journey through time. Our destination is medieval Europe, specifically the Frankish kingdom at the turn of the 80 AE and 9th centuries. This was an era of rising and falling kingdoms, a time when heroic tales passed from mouth to mouth. The hero we'll meet today is Roland. Have you heard of Roland before? For many of you, this name might be unfamiliar, but in medieval Europe, Roland was one of the most famous heroes. His story has been passed down through generations by troubadours and storytellers, eventually recorded in the great epic poem, The Song of Roland. Who was Roland? What was the world he lived in like? And why does his story continue to move us even today? Let's begin our journey to find answers to all these questions. To truly understand Roland's story, we must first understand the time he lived in. In the late 80th century, Europe was in a state of turmoil. Centuries had passed since the fall of the Roman Empire, but no power had yet fully filled the vacuum it left behind. It was during this time that the Frankish kingdom was slowly growing in power. The Frankish kingdom encompassed vast territories, including much of modern-day France and Germany. The man who would make this kingdom even more powerful was Charlemagne. Charlemagne, his name means Charles the Great, and great he truly was. Charlemagne was not only an exceptional military leader, but also a patron of learning and the arts. Under his rule, the Frankish kingdom rose to become the most powerful state in Europe, and he was eventually crowned as the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. It was in Charlemagne's court that our hero, Roland, grew up. Roland was the son of Charlemagne's sister, making him the emperor's nephew. But he didn't become famous merely because of his royal connection. Roland built his reputation through his courage, loyalty, and exceptional combat skills. From a young age, Roland showed extraordinary talents. He was not only large and strong, but also displayed remarkable skills in strategy and tactics. Charlemagne cherished and trusted his talented nephew. Roland participated in many of Charlemagne's campaigns. He distinguished himself on the battlefield and was gradually entrusted with more important missions. His bravery was a source of terror for his enemies and a symbol of trust for his comrades. Roland particularly distinguished himself in the Spanish campaign. At that time, most of the Iberian Peninsula was under Muslim control. Charlemagne launched a major expedition to reclaim this region, and Roland played a crucial role in this campaign. Roland's weapon was a legendary sword called Durandal. Legend has it that this sword contained holy relics and possessed sacred power. Wielding Durandal, Roland defeated countless enemies and achieved victories in seemingly impossible battles. While Roland's bravery and combat skills are well known, it's also important to discuss his character and values. Roland was not a mere warrior. He was the embodiment of chivalric spirit. Loyalty was Roland's greatest virtue. He showed absolute loyalty to his uncle, Emperor Charlemagne. This wasn't simply due to their blood relation. Roland shared Charlemagne's vision of a strong, unified Christian Europe. Roland also valued honor above all else. For him, honor was more precious than life itself. This value system would later become a crucial factor in determining his fate. Another characteristic of Roland was his confidence, perhaps even overconfidence. He had deep trust in his own abilities, which sometimes came across as arrogance. This confidence made him a hero, but it also became the cause of his tragic end. Roland's story carries a meaning beyond that of a simple heroic tale. It encapsulates the values and ideals of medieval Europe: loyalty, courage, honor, faith. These were the highest virtues that knights of the time were expected to pursue. Roland's story also reflects the historical context of the confrontation between Christian Europe and the Islamic world. This represents not just a religious conflict, but a clash of civilizations and Europeans' efforts to protect their way of life. This story has inspired Europeans for hundreds of years. Many knights took Roland as their role model, and artists have recreated his story in various forms. The Song of Roland is recognized as a masterpiece of French literature and continues to be a subject of study and interpretation to this day. We've now explored the character of Roland and the era he lived in. Roland is not just a historical figure. He is a symbolic being who embodies the ideals and values of an entire era. In our next session, we'll delve into Roland's most famous story, his final battle at the Pass of Roncevaux. We'll discuss his courage, his tragedy, and the impact his story had on future generations. What does Roland's story tell us? What lessons can we learn from his courage, loyalty, and sometimes excessive confidence? Please keep these questions in mind as we look forward to our next session. Thank you.